First contact and confrontation. The vast emptiness of deep space lit up as the UNES Defiance emerged from its jump point, the massive vessel's hull glinting under the light of an unfamiliar star system. On the bridge, Captain Alina Reyes stood with her hands clasped behind her back, her posture rigid as she studied the holographic display before her. 20 years of military service had prepared her for many things, but this moment, humanity's first deliberate confrontation with the Thraxian Empire, felt different. "Status report," she commanded, her voice steady despite the tension that filled the bridge. "All systems nominal, Captain." Lieutenant Commander Jackson replied from his station. "Shields at maximum capacity. Weapons systems primed and ready. The Thraxian fleet has detected our presence. They're changing formation." The main view screen showed 12 alien vessels arranged in a precision formation. For 3 years, these same vessels had been systematically raiding Earth's outer colonies, abducting civilians, and probing humanity's defenses. Intelligence suggested they were testing Earth's military capabilities, preparing for something bigger. Today, that pattern would end. "They're hailing us, Captain," Communications Officer Torres announced, his fingers moving across his console with practiced precision. On screen, Reyes ordered, squaring her shoulders. The holographic display flickered, and the image of High Commander Zexar appeared. The Thraxian's exoskeletal face with its multiple compound eyes and mandibles would have been unsettling to most humans, but Reyes had studied their species extensively. What others saw as alien, she read as expressions, and right now, she saw surprise mixed with contempt. "Human vessel." Zexar's translated voice resonated through the bridge speakers, the harmonics slightly off in the way all Thraxian communications were. "Your presence in the Proxima Centauri system violates our territorial claim. Power down your systems and prepare for boarding. Resistance will result in your immediate destruction." Several bridge officers exchanged glances, but Reyes didn't flinch. "This is Captain Alina Reyes of the United Earth Space Force vessel Defiance," she responded, her tone firm but measured. "Proxima Centauri is a human colony system, and we recognize no Thraxian territorial claims here. For 3 years, your forces have attacked our outposts, abducted our citizens, and violated our sovereignty. That ends today." The alien commander's mandibles clicked in what intelligence reports identified as amusement. "You bring one ship against our fleet. Your species' reputation for irrational behavior is well earned." "Perhaps," Reyes conceded with the slightest smile. "But there's something else we're known for that you should consider." "And what might that be, human?" Zexar asked, his translated voice dripping with condescension. "Adaptation." With a subtle nod to her tactical officer, Lieutenant Wei, concealed weapon ports along the Defiance's hull slid open, revealing systems unlike anything the Thraxians had encountered in their centuries of conquest. The bridge of the alien flagship erupted in activity as their sensors detected the unusual energy signatures. On the view screen, Zexar turned to bark orders at his crew before facing Reyes again, his compound eyes widening slightly. "These readings, they cannot be accurate," the alien commander said, genuine confusion entering his voice. "Your technological level is not consistent with our intelligence. You've spent years testing us," Reyes replied, her voice hardening. "Picking off isolated outposts, analyzing our responses, measuring our capabilities. But while you were studying us, Commander Zexar, we were studying you." She stepped closer to the view screen. "Every drone you lost, every probe that mysteriously malfunctioned, they weren't accidents. They were opportunities for us to learn about Thraxian technology, and we're fast learners." The Defiance hummed as its experimental phase shift generators powered up, creating localized distortions in space-time that the alien sensors were frantically trying to analyze. Their fleet began to spread out, moving into an attack formation. "You have one opportunity, Commander," Reyes continued, her finger hovering above a control on her command chair. "Withdraw from human space permanently, or discover why, Throughout Earth's history, cornering humans has always been a catastrophic mistake. Zexar's mandibles clicked rapidly, a sign of agitation. You primitive mammals dare to threaten the Thraxian Empire. We have subjugated 27 species across 5 sectors. Your single ship cannot hope to stand against our battle fleet. Reyes sighed. I was hoping you'd say that. She nodded to Lieutenant Wei. Target their lead vessel. Minimal power. Let's show them what humanity does when backed into a corner. Target locked, Captain. Wei confirmed. Fire. What happened next would change the balance of power in the sector forever. A pulse of focused energy, technology reverse-engineered from salvaged Thraxian components, but fundamentally transformed by human innovation, lanced out from the Defiance. The beam struck the alien flagship, bypassing its shields completely. The vessel shuddered as systems failed across its hull, lights flickering out section by section. On the view screen, Zexar's image destabilized as power fluctuations rocked his ship. For the first time since humanity had encountered the Thraxians, a new expression crossed the alien commander's face. Fear. Impossible, he stammered, genuine panic entering his voice. How did you? That was a warning shot. Reyes interrupted, her voice deadly quiet. The next one won't be. Now shall we discuss your withdrawal from human space? As the crippled Thraxian flagship drifted, the rest of their fleet hesitated, their coordinated attack thrown into disarray. For the first time in their long history of conquest, the Thraxians faced something unfamiliar: doubt. The bridge of the Defiance fell silent as the crew watched the aliens regroup, everyone aware that this moment would define humanity's place in the galaxy. Lieutenant Jackson broke the silence first. Captain, I'm detecting energy buildups in their remaining vessels. They're preparing to attack. Reyes nodded, unsurprised. The Thraxians have never faced defeat. They don't know how to process it. She turned to her crew. Battle stations. Deploy countermeasures and bring the quantum field online. Chief Engineer Patel's voice came through the comm. Captain, the quantum field is still experimental. We've never tested it under combat conditions. There's a first time for everything, Commander, Reyes replied. Your team built this ship to defend humanity. It's time to see what she can do. As the quantum field generators hummed to life, Earth's most closely guarded technological secret, Reyes thought about everything that had led to this moment. The destruction of Outpost Harmony 2 years ago, where she'd lost her brother. The realization that the Thraxian attacks weren't random but calculated tests. The desperate gamble of Project Defiance, which had produced this ship by combining reverse-engineered alien technology with uniquely human approaches to physics. 5 Thraxian vessels accelerated toward them, weapon systems charging to maximum output. Evasive maneuvers, Reyes ordered. Pattern Delta. The Defiance responded with impossible agility for a vessel its size, the revolutionary inertial dampeners allowing it to move in ways no human or Thraxian ship ever had. The first volley of alien energy weapons passed harmlessly through empty space where the Earth vessel had been moments before. Quantum field at 87% and rising. Paddle reported from engineering. Field stability holding. Reyes opened a communication channel to the entire Thraxian fleet. This is Captain Reyes. Your flagship has been neutralized with minimal effort. This demonstrates only a fraction of our capabilities. On her tactical display, she could see the quantum field approaching optimal levels. Just a few more seconds. The Thraxian Empire has conquered 27 species, she continued, echoing Zexar's boast. But humans aren't like those other species. We don't surrender. We don't accept defeat. And we certainly don't forget those we've lost. Multiple weapon locks, Captain, Lieutenant Wei warned. All vessels targeting our position. Your fleet has exactly 30 seconds to power down weapons and withdraw from human space. Reyes continued, her voice unwavering. After that, we will demonstrate the full capabilities of this vessel. The response was immediate and overwhelming. A barrage of energy weapons from all directions converging on the Defiance's position. Quantum field at full power, Patil announced. Ready on your command. Reyes nodded. Engage quantum field, full dispersion pattern. The space around the Defiance shimmered, distorting like heat waves rising from hot pavement. The incoming Thoraxian weapons fire entered this distortion and simply vanished, redirected through microscopic folds in spacetime. On the view screen, the alien fleet's confusion was palpable as their sensors tried to make sense of what had just happened. Field holding stable, Patil reported, though Reyes could hear the strain in his voice. But we can't maintain this indefinitely, Captain. The power requirements are enormous. We won't need to, Reyes replied. Lieutenant Wei, target their 3 lid vessels. Focused graviton beams, quarter power. Targeting complete, Wei confirmed. Ready to fire. Reyes leaned forward. Fire. The graviton beams lanced out from the Defiance, 3 precisely calibrated streams of energy that sliced through space. They connected with the targeted Thoraxian vessels, and for a brief moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, one by one, the alien ships went dark, their hull lights flickering out as their power systems collapsed. Direct hits, White reported. Their gravitational field generators are offline. Life support systems switching to emergency backups. Reyes nodded, her expression grim but satisfied. They're disabled, not destroyed. I want them to witness what happens next. But the battle was far from over. The remaining Thoraxian vessels were regrouping, adapting their tactics based on what they'd seen. 7 ships arranged themselves in a new formation, their energy signatures changing as they linked their shield systems together. Captain, Jackson called out, I'm detecting unusual energy buildups in those 7 vessels. They're overloading their own power cores. Reyes's blood ran cold. During her briefing on Thoraxian military doctrine, she'd learned of a desperate tactic they employed only when facing technologically superior enemies, sacrificing a portion of their fleet in a massive energy detonation designed to overwhelm enemy defenses. They're going to create a cascading energy surge, she realized aloud. Patil, divert all available power to the forward quantum field projectors. Lieutenant Cadeau, evasive pattern Omega, braced for impact. The 7 Thoraxian ships accelerated toward the Defiance, their engines blazing with unnatural light as they pushed beyond safety limits. They were on a suicide run. Captain, if those ships detonate within our perimeter, the quantum field won't be able to contain the surge, Patil warned. Reyes made a split-second decision. Lieutenant Wei, target the lead vessel with everything we've got. The Defiance's weapons fired, striking the lead Thoraxian ship just as it breached the outer boundary of the quantum field. For a heartbeat, the alien vessel seemed to absorb the energy, its hull glowing with an eerie blue-green light. Then, catastrophically, its power core detonated. The explosion rippled outward, catching 3 more kamikaze vessels in its blast radius. Their own overloaded cores added to the conflagration, creating a chain reaction that illuminated space like a newborn star. The Defiance rocked violently as the edge of the blast hit their quantum field, overloading the projectors. Alarms blared throughout the bridge as systems struggled to compensate. Field generators failing, Patil shouted over the noise. Hull breaches on decks 4 through 7. Containment fields active, Jackson reported. But we've lost weapons and the starboard maneuvering thrusters. As the chaos subsided, the view screen cleared to show the remaining Thoraxian vessels regrouping. 3 of the suicide ships had survived and were circling back for another run. Reyes pulled herself up from the deck where she'd been thrown, ignoring the sharp pain in her shoulder. Blood trickled from a cut on her forehead, but her eyes remained clear and focused. Status of the quantum core, she demanded. Patil's voice came back, heavy with concern. Critical, Captain. The field generators are fried. We've lost 60% of our defensive capabilities. The remaining Thoraxian ships moved into attack position, sensing the Defiance's vulnerability. But despite the damage, despite the odds, Rice felt a strange calm settle over her. "They think we're finished," she said quietly. "Aren't we, Captain?" Lieutenant Jackson asked, voicing what everyone was thinking. Rice shook her head, a determined smile forming on her lips. "When you've exhausted all conventional options, that's when human ingenuity truly shines." She opened a shipwide channel. "All hands, this is the captain. Prepare for emergency protocol, Lazarus." The bridge crew exchanged confused glances. There was no such protocol in their mission briefings. "Captain?" White questioned. "It's time to show them our final surprise," Rice replied, her eyes never leaving the approaching Theraxian fleet. "And why humanity will never be conquered. The final stand." Chief Engineer Patel's voice crackled through the comm system. "Captain, did you say Protocol Lazarus? That's still theoretical. We haven't completed the integration tests." "Necessity accelerates innovation, Commander," Rice replied, her calm at odds with the chaos surrounding them. "Begin emergency core reconfiguration. Authorization raise Phoenix Omega." As the damaged Defiance drifted, seemingly helpless, the Theraxian fleet moved in for the kill. On the view screen, the crippled flagship had restored minimal power, and Commander Zexar's image appeared once more. "Your resistance was impressive but futile, human." The alien's translated voice held a mixture of relief and renewed arrogance. "Surrender your vessel now, and we may allow your crew to live as subjects of the Empire." Rice glanced at the status display where a countdown had appeared, showing the progress of Protocol Lazarus. 45 seconds remaining. "Commander Zexar," she responded, deliberately slowing her speech to buy time. "There seems to be a fundamental misunderstanding between our species that I feel compelled to clarify before this conflict concludes." The alien commander's compound eyes narrowed. "Speak quickly, Captain. My patience wears thin. Throughout your Empire's history, you've encountered species that surrender when defeated, that accept subjugation when their military options are exhausted." Rice's voice grew stronger. "That is not humanity's way." 30 seconds. "In our history, some of our greatest innovations came in our darkest moments. When we are cornered, when we are wounded, when all conventional options are exhausted. That is when we are most dangerous." The Theraxian vessels had formed a ring around the Defiance, weapons charged and ready to fire. Their caution was the only reason they hadn't already destroyed the Earth ship. They wanted to capture it, to study the technology that had neutralized their flagship. 20 seconds. "Even now, you believe you understand the situation," Rice continued. "You believe you are witnessing the last desperate moments of a defeated vessel." Zexar's mandibles clicked in what intelligence identified as the Theraxian equivalent of a dismissive laugh. "Your defiance in the face of inevitable defeat is both admirable and foolish. The outcome is certain." 10 seconds. "That's where you're wrong," Rice replied, her eyes meeting the alien's compound gaze with unwavering confidence. "You've spent years studying our conventional weapons, our shield technologies, our propulsion systems. But there's one thing you never discovered." 5 seconds. "And what would that be, Captain?" Zexar asked, his tone mocking. Rice smiled. "We're not just good at adapting technology. We're masters at hiding it." 0. "Protocol Lazarus active," Patil announced, his voice tinged with both excitement and apprehension. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. The Defiance hung in space, still damaged, still surrounded. Then, almost imperceptibly at first, the ship began to change. Across its hull, what appeared to be battle damage rearranged itself. Panels shifted, revealing hidden systems that had been completely undetectable to Theraxian sensors. "By the ancestral hive," one of Zexar's officers exclaimed, the translation coming through filled with alarm. "Their ship is transforming." The Defiance's outer hull reconfigured, shedding its damaged sections like a snake molting its skin. Beneath was a gleaming secondary hull, pristine and untouched by the battle. New weapon ports opened along previously unseen seams. The ship's profile slimmed as the bulkier outer hull fell away, revealing a faster, more maneuverable vessel hidden within. "What is this deception?" Zexar demanded, genuine alarm in his voice for the first time. "Not deception," Rise corrected. "Strategy. The Defiance was designed with two completely separate hull systems. What you've been fighting is essentially our outer armor, a sacrificial system designed to absorb damage while concealing our true capabilities. On the Defiance's bridge, systems that had appeared damaged now showed full functionality as they switched to the secondary operating core hidden deep within the ship's inner hull. Lights returned to full brightness, and the main viewscreen displayed targeting solutions for every Thoraxian vessel. "All systems online," Lieutenant Wei reported, unable to keep the excitement from her voice. "Secondary weapons grid powered and ready, Captain." "Shield systems reconfigured and at maximum capacity," Jackson added. Rise leaned forward in her command chair. "Target all vessels. Quantum disruptors at half power." "Target locked," Wei confirmed. "Perhaps now would be a good time to discuss terms, Commander Zexar," Rise suggested, her tone deliberately casual. The alien commander stared in disbelief at the transformed vessel before him. This cannot be. "Our intelligence was exactly what we wanted you to see," Rise finished for him. "While your forces tested our outer colonies, our actual capabilities remained hidden. The ship you thought you crippled was just the outer shell. The real Defiance is what you're seeing now." Zexar turned away from the screen, conferring urgently with his officers. When he faced Rise again, his mandibles were tight against his face, a sign of extreme stress. "You leave us no choice but to fire," Rise ordered before Zexar could complete his sentence. The Defiance's quantum disruptors, weapons far beyond what the Thoraxians had believed humans capable of creating, fired simultaneously. Unlike the earlier graviton beams, these weapons struck with surgical precision, targeting the power distribution nodes on each vessel. One by one, the Thoraxian ships went dark, their systems completely neutralized without causing catastrophic damage. Only Zexar's flagship, already crippled from the earlier attack, remained partially functional. "All hostile vessels neutralized, Captain," Wei reported. "Their weapons and propulsion systems are offline. Life support remains functional." Rise nodded, satisfied. "Open a channel to Commander Zexar." The alien's image appeared once more, illuminated only by emergency lighting. Behind him, his bridge was in chaos, officers frantically working to restore basic systems. "You have two options, Commander," Rice stated without preamble. "Option 1. We finish what we started and destroy your fleet entirely. Option 2. You return to your empire with a message." Zexar's compound eyes fixed on her. "What message?" "Human space is off-limits to the Thoraxian Empire. Any further incursions will be met with the full force of our capabilities. Capabilities that, as you've seen today, far exceed what you previously believed possible." The alien commander's mandibles twitched in what might have been indignation or calculation. "And if I refuse both options?" Lieutenant Wei spoke up from her station. "Captain, I'm detecting energy buildups in the flagship's auxiliary power core. They appear to be rerouting all remaining power to weapons." Rise sighed. "A demonstration, then." She nodded to Wei. "Target their auxiliary power core. Minimum power. Surgical strike." "Targeted," Wei confirmed. "Fire." A single focused beam lanced out from the Defiance, striking the Thoraxian flagship with pinpoint accuracy. The energy buildup dissipated immediately as the auxiliary power system went offline. "Now they're running on emergency reserves only," Jackson reported. "Basic life support and nothing more." Zexar stared at Reyes through the viewscreen, his alien features unreadable to most, but to Reyes's trained eye, showing the first signs of acceptance. "You could have destroyed us at any time," he stated, not a question, but a realization. "Yes," Reyes confirmed simply. "That was never our goal. Humanity doesn't seek conquest, Commander. We seek to be left in peace. But make no mistake, We will defend ourselves with everything we have." For long moments, Zexar was silent, the only sound the distant alarms from his damaged ship. Finally, he spoke, his translated voice subdued. "I will convey your message to the High Council. The Thraxian Empire has misjudged humanity's capabilities. A costly misjudgment," Rise observed. "One we hope won't be repeated. We'll provide emergency power to your vessels sufficient for you to return to your territory. But remember what you saw here today. Remember what one human ship was capable of." She leaned forward, her expression firm but not vengeful. "And remember that we have more." 6 hours later, the bridge of the Defiance was quiet as the crew watched the last of the Thraxian vessels disappear into FTL. Repair teams had already begun restoring the outer hull, and damage reports indicated the ship would be fully operational within days. Lieutenant Jackson approached where Reyes stood by the main view screen, still watching the space where the alien fleet had been. "Do you think they'll be back, Captain?" he asked quietly. Reyes considered the question. "Not soon. The Thraxians respect strength above all else. Today they learned that humans aren't the easy target they believed us to be." "Protocol Lazarus was brilliant," Jackson commented. "Even most of the crew didn't know about the ship-within-a-ship design." "That was the point," Rise replied with a slight smile. "The best-kept secrets are the ones shared with the fewest people." She turned to face her first officer fully. "Throughout history, humanity's greatest advantage has never been our technology. It's been our ability to innovate, to think differently, to find solutions where others see only problems." She gestured to the stars visible through the view screen. "The galaxy is full of species older than us, some with technologies we're only beginning to understand. But what they don't have, what the Thraxians clearly don't have, is our perspective. Our history of being the underdog," Jackson suggested. "Precisely. When you've spent thousands of years as the dominant species, you forget how to think like the hunted." Reyes's eyes gleamed with quiet pride. "We haven't forgotten. And that's why, despite being newcomers to the galactic stage, humanity will never be conquered." As the Defiance set course for Earth, carrying news of their victory and the technological data collected during the encounter, Captain Alina Reyes knew this was just the beginning. The galaxy had noticed humanity now. Some species would seek alliance, others would maintain distance, and a few, like the Thraxians, might eventually test their resolve again. But the message had been delivered. Humanity was ready. In the vast expanse of Thraxian imperial space, Commander Zexar stood before the High Council, his posture humble but his voice firm as he delivered his report on the encounter with the human vessel. "They could have destroyed us completely," he concluded. "Instead, they showed restraint, not from weakness, but from a position of strength. Their technology is unlike anything we've encountered before. Not more advanced in the conventional sense, but different, unpredictable." The Grand Hierarch's voice boomed through the chamber. "You suggest we abandon our expansion into human territory. Centuries of imperial doctrine overturned because of one encounter." Zexar's compound eyes met those of his superior without flinching. "With respect, Grand Hierarch, I suggest we reevaluate. The humans revealed only a fraction of their capabilities, and what they showed was enough to neutralize an entire battle fleet. If we proceed with the invasion plans, we must be prepared for a protracted and costly conflict with an outcome that is uncertain." Uncertain. The word hung in the chamber like a physical presence. In the 20,000 cycles of recorded Thraxian history, military outcomes had never been described as uncertain. Perhaps, the Grand Hierarch finally conceded, we should direct our expansion toward the Cygnus arm instead. The species there are, more conventional in their approaches. As the council moved on to other matters, Zexar reflected on the human captain who had bested him. In her eyes, he had seen something rare in the galaxy, not just determination or courage, but innovation. The capacity to look at a problem from angles no Thraxian would consider. For the first time in his long military career, Zexar found himself hoping that he would never again face humans in battle. Some enemies were best observed from a distance, very, very far distance. And somewhere in the void between stars, the UNES Defiance continued its journey home, carrying with it a new chapter in humanity's story among the stars, a chapter that would echo across the galaxy for generations to come.